Hi, good morning. Good morning and kia ora. Welcome, everyone.
Good morning. Welcome.
Oh, there we go. Cool. We have hi, Lorraine. Hi, Cash. Hi, Joseph. All right, we have 50.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Morning, Richard. Hi, Mark. Hi, Angel. Okay. Let's get the session started. Subdivision 101, how to make better informed property development decisions. My name's Knight Hou. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Relab. And today I have the privilege of having Ben as my guest on our webinar. This is the third webinar that we have organized during Auckland's level 4 or now 3 lockdown. The previous two were guests from Real AML and guests from planning specialist Rico. So let's get today started. So let me quickly introduce our guest today, Ben. Ben is the founder of a very popular Facebook group called Subdivision New Zealand. And this group has grown significantly in terms of its member size. And right now, it is the largest subdivision-related Facebook group in New Zealand. How many members do you have today, Ben?
Oh, it's about, I think, almost 11,000 members.
Wow.
And just thanks for having me.
Awesome. Okay, why don't you maybe do a quick intro of, your background and how did you start the group?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that. So the group started, I think, almost two to 3 years now. We've been running. It started with just a couple of members that are really interested in doing their first development. I was looking to subdivide the back of my site. I couldn't find literally anyone to go to. Back then, I think we could go on to Google and we could search for a couple things on there. And many people came by. You got planners, you got architects, and everyone giving you different, opinions and directions. And I thought that there was an outlet that we could channel all this information and questions to. So I decided to see if there was a group like this in on Facebook, but looks like there wasn't. So I just started one. And from first 100 people it grew, and then not until recently, about a year ago, it actually grew until what it is the size today. It's literally just a group for people to share and extract information on how to basically go ahead and do development within Auckland and obviously the greater Auckland later on.
That's awesome. Hey, that's quite an inspirational story, Ben, because you first had a problem yourself and then you're trying to solve it yourself, couldn't find a solution. Now you build a community, which is, quite a sizable community. People are helping each other out. That's awesome. So can I ask you a question? What are the commonly asked questions in your group between your members? What are the sort of top 3 topics that people are most interested in nowadays?
Well, there is a lot of questions being asked. Lots of questions on there I actually don't know, so I'm learning on the go as well. But the most common ones I get messaged directly is, is my site subdividable? What do I have to look out for in terms of the risks in subdividing my site? Is this can I do X amount of lots on this site? What are the issues with the site in terms of wastewater, stormwater, connection infrastructure, and planning issues. Lots of planning issues, so height to boundary ratios and all that. These are a little bit more, obviously high level stuff still, but things that people don't hear about from your day-to-day things. So it will be good if we had a tool, and this is why I'm really, really enthusiastic about Relab, is because once you use it, you start learning. You start learning the things that you don't know, and it just takes one step, and then the next one, you actually kind of understand things. So as obviously Relab grow, I think a lot of people will grow with it, and that's what I like about it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ben. And those key themes are the things that we hear from our Relab members on a daily basis. That's why we really love everyone's feedback. We love learning, we love sharing, and we can grow it together. Hey, now we have 71 people on the webinar. Welcome to those who've just joined us. So why don't we then move on to the next part of our webinar? Not a problem, Lena. You haven't missed anything, and feel free to ask your questions as we go along. I'll be checking, and Ben will be checking our chat channels as we go. So why don't we, I'm going to start sharing my screen now. Why don't we take everyone through high level, some of the key features of Relab, and hopefully as we go, we can demonstrate how Relab can help you and your members. Okay, so can you see my screen okay?
Yeah, I can see it perfectly fine.
Awesome, cool. So I recall you just mentioned that some of the commonly discussed questions are, planning questions, infrastructure, wastewater, stormwater. Is my site subdividable? And I like to share with everyone a really cool feature that we have on Relab, and it's called ASI, or Advanced Search Insight. So this is the first tool that I want to quickly share with you all, because this is not a very commonly used or understood one. So now I've landed on Advanced Search screen. Say that you are say a builder developer looking for start with development potential in January. There's been a lot of activities happening in that part of Auckland. So we're putting the suburb in, and instantly this tool shows that there are 99 current listings in Manurewa. Okay, so quite a lot of listings for a suburb, and it's a big suburb too. But what if I turn off this filter that says active listings only? And then once you wait a few seconds, now this tool gives us all the 9,522 addresses all across Manurewa. So these are not live listings, these are all the addresses. Let's say you're looking for a site with subdivision potential, you'd go and filter further by, title type, freehold only, by zoning. Let's go with terrace and apartment zoning, and residential mixed housing suburban. Should we choose mixed housing urban as well?
Yeah.
Say that you're interested in those three types, and of course you can tick or untick and choose whatever that would interest you, that would align with what you're looking for. And the next filter criteria will be a CV range. Let's say anything between 500K and 2.5 mil to make it quite a wide range. And then we have the next one. Now, we quite often get questions from our members asking, what is LV ratio, or land value ratio? Basically, our CV is made of two parts: LV, land value, plus IV, improvement value, which is the house and the structure sitting above land. So the higher this ratio is, the stronger the indication that there's a big piece of land carries more value instead of the improvement house. So let's bump it up to 80%. And the last filter criteria is minimum land size. So let's go maybe minimum.
Sorry about that. Can you check your audio? I think there's a couple of issues with audio there. It's not too good on your side. Can you guys hear me all right?
Hello. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
That's better now, they said.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you. I'll get closer to the screen.
Yeah.
All right. So once we've entered these search criteria, let's have a go and see how many addresses would match this criteria. 299. So out of 9,500 addresses, only 300 of them would match the specific criteria we're searching for. Okay, so that's already down by like 90%. And then you can filter this further by, say, you go on to type anything with flooding zones. That's okay. Once you tick this filter, now we're down to 117, and we can exclude any severe falls and rise, and show us flat land. Let's see if the system will tell us that. Yep, down to 112, and you can even go as far as showing us the site that's got wastewater connection. Now down to 28. So this is a very effective tool that allowed us to go, here are all the addresses of any suburb you're interested in, and then go through a step-by-step process and help you to filter down to these 28. And then we can click on any one of these addresses and have a look.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, I've just been dealing with a lot, some comments on the chat about the audio and just seeing and making sure that everything's all right. Some people saying it's still muffled. Some people say that they can and they can see the screen. That's all good.
okay.
Maybe if we can just adjust a little bit more for the audience there. But can everyone hear me all right? Okay, sweet as.
Okay, let me do another sound check. Test 1, 2. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Maybe just reply in the chat channel and let Ben know.
They say it's much better now.
Okay, so maybe I had my audio on too loudly and it's
Maybe.
somehow interfering with my mic. So thank you, Ben, for keeping an eye on the chat channel, because when I'm doing screen sharing, I can't see what's going on. Is it better now?
Yeah, they say it's way better now. Much better.
Oh, thank you. Cool. So I started with advanced search, and the use case there was, we want to go through Manurewa and just look for a couple of sites with subdivision potential. And this tool has led us to this screen. I just click on the top one out of the 28 that the tool has given us. So with this, in this screen, you can check out the maps. I can switch between a base map and a high-res satellite map. And lastly, we've recently implemented a new contour map. So it tells you exactly what's going on from a topography and terrains point of view. And on top, we can go show us the service lines. Fantastic. So we can see the green line, which is a stormwater, and the red line, which is a wastewater. Remember, in this search criteria, we did ask for a site that's got wastewater connection. So it's pretty bang on.
Yep, and also this one here, the search engine that you have, you can search ones that are available to purchase as well. Is that right?
Absolutely. So if I go back to my search criteria, that's a good point, and turn on these active listings only. Right. So under this very strict search criteria, there's none showing active listings. But if I untick some of the very, very stringent, there you go. So if I unticked wastewater connection, now it's showing us 3 listings, current live listings. You can see the date they were listed and the south method. That would fit this very, very specific search criteria. Yes, you're right. Cool. And you can click on any one of them and find out further.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a road frontage tool that we can use? So for example, is there a filter that we can actually click on to see if there's enough road frontage?
Sure. That's a very good question, Ben, and that's one that gets asked from time to time. Right now, the filter doesn't include a road frontage, but we will definitely take that on board and make it a future product feature for Relab. In spite of that, once you are on a specific site, actually, we would tell you the road frontage. For example, this. Let me just make this a bit cleaner so everyone can see. So we have actually highlighted the boundaries of the site, and you can see the road frontage, or the width of the driveway, 3.1 meters, and it's 69.4 meters going down this way. So everything is already measured out for you. You don't have to, fiddle with any other measurements tool to get the sense of the boundary and the road frontage. Cool.
Awesome.
So we've got our underground services map layer, wastewater and stormwater, and the next layer is flooding. So this side is good. It's away from any flood sensitive, flood prone areas, and they're represented by, when I go on and off, they're represented by these different blue color and mesh. So we have a legend here down at the bottom right of the map, so you can actually see, what the different colors and different shape means. Flood prone, flood plain, and flood sensitive area, as well as overland flood path. Cool. So again, remember in our previous search criteria, we wanted site that excludes any flooding zones. So again, it's pretty accurate that the site is away from any
just
flood
one
zones.
suggestion that I had with someone that I was talking about, and this is for myself as well.
Sure.
In terms of the legend, it's just a lot of people probably didn't even know that there was that legend button that you could actually click on and see what the things are and what they're for. For example, the flooding, whether it's flood prone or flood sensitive area, they wouldn't have known where to click on that to see it. It's kind of hidden there. Maybe
Sure.
highlight that for something on the map system.
Good point. Yeah, no, thank you. I've just written down, and Ben, that's really, really helpful feedback. Hey, just checking, is my audio still okay?
I think there was a couple of issues there, but it's all good now. I think everyone
Awesome.
says it's all good.
Cool. Yeah, please let me know if people can't hear me. Okay, shall we keep going? The next map layer is plan. Obviously, we're in Auckland. This is our unitary plan. And this filter will give us a very clear and high-level view of the planning or zoning type of our site. So in this case, is a mixed housing suburban and all the neighboring zoning types, which is we have urban here and business and neighborhood center zone further out. So the good thing about Relab Map is you can, at any given time, have different combinations going on, right? You can go on to see plan, zoning type, and infrastructure and flooding all in one map. Give you a view on the.
Oh, I think he is gone, guys. Sorry about that. I think he's got some connection issues. We'll see if he comes back.
Hello.
No, there we go. He's back.
Hi. My my apologies. I made sure all the kids are off Wi-Fi before I started this webinar.
That's all good.
Okay.
We'll just reconnect back to the screen and share some new things. I did notice that the contours now are actually moved to a different layer, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so you got more control that way.
Absolutely. So we contour used to be part of the services layer, but we've been thinking of ways how we can improve that. So now contour is a separate layer, which gives you a very detailed contour or topography view. So as we can see, this site is relatively flat. The reason being that there isn't a lot of contour lines going through the site. And we can show you, this is the 32-meter contour line, which is 32 meters above sea level. But if we zoom out, right, of the contour map, this gives you a really high level sort of view of the terrain or topography, which is in many situations is a key consideration for development. If you're dealing with, a massive amount of earthworks or potential flooding issues, which is part of a contour consideration as well for catchment area.
Yeah. I'll just share a little bit of how I go and use Relab because I use it quite often. I use it more than anything else. First thing I get, anyone that sends me any addresses, what I do is I just literally put it into Relab. I have a look at the address. I have a look at what the site looks like on the base layer map, and then I turn on services and flood to see whether there's services and infrastructure around, whether they're on site or not. And then I have a look at the flood zones. If it's in the flood zone, then I need to be wary of that. Then I look at the third thing is the contours and typography of the site. Those are three main things I look for. Whether it's got services, whether it's on the road front, how long the driveway is, and then what the contours are of the site. Usually those three things we would identify whether it's a good site for development or not. And then we look at the other details that's on the side there.
Fantastic. Hey, thank you very much for sharing that, Ben. And you've let your trade secret out so that you can learn your winning strategy. Okay. Thank you. Shall we move on?
Sure.
So the next map layer is consent. So when I turn this layer on, you will see a couple of, right next door we have a highlighted address. So what this means is this address has recently obtained approved building and or resource consent on 19 Beeston Crescent. So this is giving you an indication that your neighbor nearby, there could potentially be some development going on. And this is, of course, all publicly available info as part of the council. Oops, my apologies. I just need to quickly log back
You
in.
didn't pay your bill.
That might be true. So
Yeah,
need to go
I had
back.
a couple of those happen as well during uses. I think sometimes if you logged into two computers or something
Yep.
like that, it could happen. It could, yeah.
Yeah, let me just take you to another example where I know that there have been recent building and resource consents approved. So here's our example. You can see what has been approved, when it's approved for, and a high level detail. So on this side, we can see last May, there's been a resource consent approval issued for lot 1 to 7 development. And you can track, all the different stages of development. This one says last September, there's been a building consent approved for 7 new terrace houses, each with 2 bedrooms and on-site parking, etc. So this is a very, very handy tool for you to, to drill down further on this.
And if I just can comment, I really like the way that obviously nothing, all applications start with the base level, and then there's improvements on top of that. So what I see is that before previously we had resource consent and building consent in there, but we couldn't really easily tell whether it's resource consent or whether it's a building consent. But now you've actually properly labeled it, so that's a great I guess usability factor there.
Awesome.
And usability of use.
Cool. All right, thanks for that feedback, Ben. And of course, every time when we have sessions like this, when users give us feedback, we fully take it on board, and we have a pretty awesome technical team who can turn this into new product features.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's carry on. So that's we talked about all the features in mapping. What else do we have here?
There's a last one that I use quite often as well. This is probably what I check at the end is whether there's public housing around. So public housing means whether it's with Housing New Zealand, they purchase Kaingora, they purchase quite a few properties, and it's a good tool to see whether your project will be around Housing New Zealand or not. So just click on that.
If you're
highlight.
If you're going door knocking or prospecting, right, you don't want to be knocking on Housing New Zealand because you know that it's a social for social goods. And one other layer on the map is our listings layer. So this shows you all the recently sold addresses and how much they're sold for, and any current listings there might be in the area. Okay, what else? On the mapping front, we have a Google Street View, which again is all connected up with Google. So if you want to, have a look at any site without leaving the comfort of your home or your office, you can do so.
Yeah.
And do you know about our measurements tool?
Yes. So I use it. I would still say it's not as usable on the mobile device as it is on the desktop. But yeah, it's a really good tool to quickly and easily find out, whether how big something is or how what the path distance is. It's good for measuring how far you need to go for connections as well. I would say for your storm, your infrastructure, your stormwater, wastewater, etc.
Yeah, so literally you can go, let's measure the linear distance between this part of the house to the closest stormwater infrastructure, right? So 13.3 meters, you can quickly do so on the map. I've taken down your feedback on making this tool more accessible on mobile as well, so thanks very much. Now, I remember maybe it was Lorraine who was asking a question, which regions does Relab cover? So currently Relab covers Auckland region
The greater
until
Auckland. Yeah.
Greater Auckland region until last week, where we've expanded outside of Auckland for the first time. And let's show an example of a address which is Riccarton Road. Riccarton, hello Christchurch, hello Canterbury. So this is Relab's first attempt at expanding outside of Auckland, and we've chosen Christchurch City as our first sort of region. And how this will work, our team can learn, what are the things we need to go to another region, and from this point onwards we'll be rolling out region by region. Hopefully we can cover all of New Zealand over the next 6 to 12 months. So this is Christchurch. It's pretty exciting for us because this is our first foray expanding outside of Auckland. And what do we have? So similar to Auckland, we have a base map and a satellite map, which is cool. And we have services. So these are the underground services for Christchurch, with the green representing stormwater and red representing wastewater. And now I'd like to just put a caveat. The infrastructure for Christchurch is not as complete as Auckland from our work's point of view. So our team are still working on it. So what you're looking here is, I guess, a trial version, not a full version, but we're definitely working 100% on improving features here. So that's services. Now planning. These are Christchurch City's district plans. Again, every region have their own region-specific planning tools. So you can see here we have residential suburban. If I zoom out a bit further, you'll see different colors representing different type of zoning. So we have a special purpose zoning here, commercial mixed use, industrial heavy zoning, transport, so on and so forth. So again, I'm not an expert when it comes to Canterbury region. We'd love to hear your feedback if you're from Christchurch. Let us know whether this is used for or not.
The thing that's great about the tool that you guys are creating is that because I've talked to so many developers from different regions, all the plans, unitary plans, everything else is all different. So if you know Auckland very well and you go to other places, you wouldn't really understand their plans. For example, I had a Christchurch developer come up to Auckland trying to buy a bit of land, and they just don't know the area, first of all, and they don't know the unitary plans, especially 2017 Auckland unitary plans. They don't understand a lot of what you can and cannot do and how to maximize sites like that. So there is a learning curve. You're right, absolutely. Every region will have their own, and that's probably why Relab is taking so long to go to those places, because you would have to collate and gather all those data points together.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. So that's this is our zoning layer. Now the next one, which is quite significant, is liquefaction. As we know, for Christchurch, especially after the earthquake, which has caused great damage to Canterbury residents. So liquefaction is a key consideration from a development point of view as well as insurance point of view. We have incorporated liquefaction map layer, which is very specific to Christchurch, but probably less so for other regions. And you can see the red zones, the T3 and T2 zones. Again, I'm still learning to understand what those specific zoning means from a liquefaction point of view, and it's available here on Relab's Christchurch version. So you can go liquefaction, overlay it with Christchurch district plan, and overlay it with service.
Yeah. Can you just explain liquefaction to our audience there? For me, I had to look it up and had to kind of understand what it truly was.
Sure.
But yeah, it's better if you could explain that a little bit in detail.
Okay. I think, again, caveat, I'm not an engineer, geoengineer or a planner, but what we do know is liquefaction map here represented is a outcome of geo work that's done on geotechnical, I guess, work that's done on Christchurch region, Christchurch City, that represent the different risk levels that's associated with the risk of having liquefaction on a particular site. And the implication of that is, of course, that would restrict your ability to perform for certain type of development, or that would, in some cases, prohibit future development altogether.
Right.
But the best way to find out liquefaction information is literally typing Christchurch City Council liquefaction. They have an awesome website that explains to first-time users what liquefaction means, what are different levels. So we have T2, T3, red zone, etc. So yeah, I guess the best advice I can give to you if you're looking at Christchurch development is refer to the City Council website, look up liquefaction and all the other relevant planning details for Christchurch or Wellington or Auckland. That's probably most.
So as our audience, Rex has said that after an earthquake, the solid turns to much as water bubbles up. Basically, the land is stuffed. So you're basically limited in terms of what you can do on those, I think, T2 sites, right? Whereas the earthquake has an issue with that aftermath. Is that right?
Yep.
In terms of it, yeah, pretty much it.
Thank you very much, Rex. And another question that we had from our users is, obviously Canterbury region's made up of Christchurch City, Selwyn, Waimakariri, and what does Relab cover? So we are going district council by district council, and you can see the boundaries of, for example, liquefaction map just by by going through and rolling. I think this is Lincoln, so we do have liquefaction information for Lincoln, and it will probably stop by the Ashburton boundary. So again, we are going sort of council by council, so please bear with us as we go through this process. But if you want to find out, where do you start and stop, the map will tell you. Okay, awesome. So that's Christchurch info, which is pretty exciting for us. This is the first time, as I said, we expanded outside of Auckland. It's not finished product yet, so please do give us feedback if you are familiar with the region or have any questions.
Everyone's asking for Hamilton.
Hamilton is definitely on the cards, guys. It's underway. Our plan is we're going to complete our product set for Christchurch. We'll be moving to Queenstown Lakes District. So that's Queenstown and Wanaka next, and Hamilton after that. Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's talk about, I guess what's on my list? Christchurch, and lastly, we've got a pretty exciting bit of news to share with everyone, which is our team has been working on a new and innovative tool based on customer feedback that says, I think, Ben, you talk about this as well. Yeah, I've looked at the site and in a high level, it all makes sense. But I want to know that much more from a unitary plan point of view. What, normally you'd go to a planner architect and get them to write you a 20-page planning feasibility report, which will cost quite a bit. And we know those guys are currently very busy, have lots of work going on. We have been working with a company called RICO, R-I-C-O. They are a like-minded startup as well. They specialize in resource planning sort of automation process for planners. And we've been able to pull off this report. So what I'm showing you is hasn't been launched into most of our users yet. Here's just a sneak preview that when it is launched, you will be able to go into Relab, put in an address. In this case, I've chosen an address in Royal Oak, just for as an example. And let me. Am I having network problems? Hello.
Couple, yeah, it has been gone in and out, but you're okay now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can.
Okay.
And here's a sample report. So the title is Relab Property Report, or RPR. It is prepared yesterday. Here's a table of contents.
So briefly explain, like, what's the difference between like RPR and the other property report that we had previously that you could download?
Absolutely. So the biggest difference between this upcoming product, which is RPR report, is its focus on planning specific information. For example, let me just quickly take you and everyone through. On this report, we have boundary map, a high-res satellite map, property summary information about the site, the description, legal description, property details, any sales history, all title records, including current and historical title interest and title records are all recorded here. Any easement, any caveat, etc., right of way, valuation, underground services with map, any flooding, and contour zoning. Well, it just keeps going and going. Publicly owned land. Now, everything that I've shown you above is available in our current property summary report that you can download if you're a paid member of Relab. You can do that straight away, free of charge. But what this new report will include are planning specific information. In this case, it's Auckland Unitary Plan. Quite often, earlier today you touched on, what's a height restriction, height to boundary ratio, any setback rules, meaning that when you build, you cannot build too close to the boundary, any building coverage, any impervious coverage, landscape area, fence height, etc., etc. So this is a really high level summary that encapsulates.
This is great because I honestly, to be honest, I don't remember all these details. Like no one can. The main ones, yes, but all these minor details, it's quite difficult. If you're not a planner, there's no way you'll go through and memorize 1 meter setbacks for the rear side and the minimum vacant lots of each zone. So this is really good, and it depends on what zone you have. Obviously, this is urban. If you've got suburban, it'll be a little different. For high restrictions, I believe on top of my head it's 8, so you got 2 levels. But yes, this is really good in terms of especially for a beginner like myself, and obviously a lot of people to actually learn and understand what you're restricted to from the plans. And all this stuff is quite difficult to actually go and find. You got to go through different sources. So if you've just got a click of a button, you've got everything on here. This is amazing.
Yeah, thanks for the feedback. As you can see, it's got a big beta watermark across it. We're still fine-tuning this product, but any feedback from the audience will be much appreciated. Another thing about these different zoning standards is we've actually included a link to the appropriate unitary plan public website. So if you want to investigate height restrictions further, you can click on this hyperlink. And that will take you to the Auckland Council website without you having to go through and navigate a very complex unitary plan pack. Now, the next one is we have activities table. So in this page, we show you what are all the permitted activities, meaning that you can carry out these activities without having needing a resource consent. We have restricted discretionary activities, which says a resource consent may be required, and discretionary activities definitely need a resource consent, and non-compliant and additional. So again, if you want to find out, can you build restaurant and cafe here? Yes or no? We'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's really good as well, because the discretionary activities, like for me, for example, I wouldn't know many of those other than the main ones there. So this is good to have a handy tool to know what you can and cannot build before you go into anything.
Cool. But we're not done yet. The next part is any overlays, controls, and designations. Now, these are all very planning specific information, but they are important for development. So basically, if you have any of these that runs as overlays of your address, you need to give them very careful consideration. In this case, we have a mixed housing urban zone overlay, okay, and a volcanic view shafts and height sensitive area overlay. So this one would restrict the height of how high you can build, because I think this side is Royal Oak, right next door to One Tree Hill, and we have our One Tree Hill, which is Manga, and the famous volcano, and our city planners wants to protect other people's rights, I guess, with a nice view of that Manga. Therefore,
the first time I've heard about this is it's quite astonished by what that overlay really meant.
okay, yep.
Because it literally isn't it. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's basically you can't. It's a height relation boundary restriction where you can't build too high because it restricts other people from looking at the mountain.
Correct.
At the volcano. So so everyone has to have a view of the volcano.
Yep.
So to me that was I was just astonished.
So again, if you thought that this is the urban area, it can build 11 meters and it's 3 stories, you need to think again, because there is a volcanic view shafts overlay here. And given how many volcanoes we have here in Auckland, I don't know, 15 or 18 of them. So this is a common overlay. Of course, there are others. But if your site does trigger any of these overlays, controls, and designations, this report will pick it up and let you know.
Awesome.
And then we will finish this report around school zones, any in-zone and out-zone schools, as well as demographics info. I think these two are included in our current report as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
There's one question that I just recently saw was about CMA. Is there any improvements on that for our agents there?
So CMA, not yet, but we're working on it. Again, we want to make sure when we do deliver a CMA for our real estate agents friends, it is a really, how should I say, it differentiates the current experience you have. So that's currently underway.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
So Sharon, where can we get the report you just showed? Hey Sharon, what is CMA? Okay, let's address Sharon's question first. The report is currently under testing mode. So if you have any addresses that you want to run a report for, let us know. I'll leave my email addresses below. But it will be launched over the next month or so. So as a paid Relab subscriber, you'll be able to get that report done. Harvey, what is CMA? Ben, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. It's something that real estate agents use to basically figure out, what the value of your home is, and CMA is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's comparative market analysis.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, that's what it should stand for. There you go, Ennis. You got it right.
Thanks, Rachel.
So, in terms of that, they compare basically houses around the area within a certain radius, I believe, and prepare a report for you. Yeah,
awesome.
It'll be good for agents to have a look and see if they could easily do that on this as well, because I think this Relab will not only benefit developers, but it'll benefit agents as well moving forward.
Absolutely, yeah. Rex, how does? I thought there was a property value number. So, wow, lots of questions. That's awesome. Let's try and cover them all. How does Relab compare with Cofounder on CMA? So Rex, currently we have a very consumer orientated CMA. If you go on Relab and have a go, you'll see we do produce a CMA, but that's based on computer algorithm rather than what users can choose. So as I said earlier, Rex, we're working on a new CMA tool. It will be launched in the coming month. So watch the space. Div, yeah, great. Lou, thanks for taking the questions. If you are a real estate agent or a real estate branch manager, if you want to know more about Relab or a branch deal, get in touch with us, please. I'll leave my email address later for everyone. So any other, I'm just scrolling back our chat channels. Sonali, stormwater not on site. How does it get neighbor consent? If neighbor refuses to get permission, in that case, what to do? Can you please?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
CMA comparable to desktop valuations such as QV. Okay, so for that one there, Rachel, the CMA is something that's current, and that's something that all agents would do for you based on appraisal today, and QV meaning I think it's the value of your home from it's more of like a rateable value from the government, the council. So that's the difference there. Cost. So valuation number. Rex has asked a couple of questions there. Sorry, there's so many just coming through. Huge money with sums and deals. That's it's more all the specific questions. Feel free to email us later.
Absolutely.
We'll put our emails below.
Why don't we do that now?
In the chat. And if you've got more specific ones, just let us know in the emails there. We'll be happy to get to them if we do know how to answer them.
Oh, Mark. Hey, Ben, would you like to share your email in the chat channel now? I'm just conscious of time. We've gone past the 45 minutes mark. Why don't we leave our email addresses so that, if it's relapse specific question, I'm happy to take them. Please email me. And Ben has just shared his email address.
Yes, Nick, it is recorded, so don't worry if you missed a little bit. We'll be able to post it on both Subdivision New Zealand's, the community group, and also obviously it'll be on Relab as well.
And let me just share the Subdivision New Zealand link. If you haven't, if you're interested in Subdivision and you're not a member yet, it's free to join, right, Ben?
Absolutely
free to join. It's basically a massive community that Ben has built over the last couple of years, but especially over last year, the numbers are just going through the roof. So if you're interested in signing up Relab, please do so by checking out relab.co.nz. We offer free 14-day trials. Give it a go and let me know how it goes. Oh, thanks, Mark. And if you're interested in joining Facebook Subdivision New Zealand community, it's an awesome community. Lots of helpful people with knowledge and advice. People help each other, and highly recommend it as well.
Yeah, lots of specialists on there as well. If you just answer a question, there'll be people obviously commenting and answering those queries. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. Definitely, I just want to leave that I use Relab on a daily basis, and that's just whether it's just looking at something that's coming up on for sale, or whether that's looking at a better alternative site, checking whether issues are, and just learning day by day with everything, especially on Relab and Subdivision New Zealand. So thanks for having me again.
Alex, lastly, can I invest in Relab? Thank you for your enthusiasm. We've actually just closed our last round. Thanks, Sunny. You're a pro member. We are a startup. We do take investment from time to time. So get in touch with me. Drop me an email. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you for spending your valuable time on a Saturday midday with us. Get in touch with us if you have any questions, and have a good rest of the weekend. Stay safe. Bye.
Okay. Cheers, guys.